He went to the Hun King's capital. In the heavens, the voice of the goddess Shi sounded. The new moon goddess is also in the kingdom of the goddess Shi. There was a trace of worry on her pretty face. Although Sumo's performance is very strong, but there are 3 people on the opposite side. Vera, don't worry, I trust him. On the contrary, Goddess Shi is not worried. Not only is she not worried, but she is also curious. I don't know how he will take down the Hun royal capital. Those 3 guys are not easy. She has full confidence in Sumo. I'm going, there's a villain. In a small town in the Hun Kingdom, a protagonist hiding here saw the warning prompt, and his face changed. Because, there is a villain nearby. He was about to leave here before the other party noticed him, when he saw a densely packed spaceship flying past in the sky. When the flying ship is approaching, where the villain is, it seems to be on the flying ship. I rubbed it. The protagonist was frightened, thinking that the villain had dispatched such a big battle to deal with him, this bronze little trash. But the flying ship did not stop, and flew over his head directly. Soon, it disappeared from sight. Call. The protagonist breathed a sigh of relief, his back was soaking wet. It should be a very high-level villain. Fortunately, his warning distance is limited. The protagonist thought. After thinking about it, he talked about it in the group of protagonists of the Hun Kingdom. Holy Sun, you have guessed it right. There is no obstacle on the way. On a flying boat, the voice of Saintess Shi sounded. Sumo gave a soft, unhindered all the way. The Hun Kingdom did not block anything at all. Probably no, block cannot block. After all, the team of this flying ship is too strong. In this way, in the afternoon, this huge fleet of flying boats had already arrived at the capital of the Hun Kingdom. In the capital of Hun, the alarm sounded loudly. What happened? I'm going, so many flying ships. This is Shi Kingdom. Shi Kingdom is calling. Soon, the news that Shi Kingdom called had spread all over the capital. I'm going. Shi Kingdom called. F***ck, I really guessed it. What's even more terrifying, I feel that the villain he Ping encounters is probably the Earl of Moshi Land. Hey, what should we do? What should we do? What should we do? First the demon god, and then the Earl of the Black Stone. Why are we so unlucky? When the news of the war came out, we should have left the capital. The villains are all staring. How do we go? In the royal capital of Shi Kingdom, in the protagonist group, the protagonists all panicked. In fact, it wasn't just them panicking. The villain in the capital of Shi is actually panicking. After all, the Earl of Moshi Land killed even the villain. It's not just the protagonists and villains that collapse. There is also the god of the Hun Kingdom. It didn't take long for the demon god to toss. 4 demon gods, tossing for hours. After 2 or 3 hours of rest, Sumo killed him. The god of the Hun Kingdom was forced to open business again. The 4 demon gods have caused him too much loss. This loss, he cannot make up for in a short time. However, for this old-fashioned god, he still has some accumulation. Therefore, he still has the power to fight. I'll go down first, and if I can't solve him, then you guys will come down. They were originally planning to come with the 3 of them. However, after being tossed by the demon god, the god of Hun Kingdom felt that it was a waste of power. So, he was going to come alone first. Moreover, the demon gods attacked one after another, which also made him think of a way. That's a wheel fight with Sumo. The 3 of them came one after another. He couldn't believe it. The time Sumo persisted, the 3 of them were there. In the sky, when the flying ship of the new Moon Kingdom approached, a beam of light appeared. The god of the Hun Kingdom has descended. Behind him, there are more than 10 angels who have already descended. Saint New Moon, I didn't expect you to have the guts to come. The Hun Kingdom adjusted its mentality. However, perhaps his mentality had collapsed, and he said these words, but he was not as imposing as before at the top of the fortress. Sumo looked at him lightly. Just you? The god of the Hun Kingdom snorted softly. It's enough for me to kill you alone. After speaking, the god of the Hun Kingdom took the lead in launching an attack. I just got depressed at the demon god, he wants to get it back here at Sumo. Boom, in the sky, the god of Hun Kingdom and Sumo started a war. As soon as they fought, the god of Hun Kingdom felt that Sumo's attacks seemed to be a little too violent. And he, because he had spent too much power before, was a little timid when he fought. A little reluctant to power. It was completely suppressed by Sumo. Drag. The god of Hun Kingdom made up his mind and dragged Sumo. If it doesn't work, let's go with the three. The angels and sanctuaries on both sides also started a war. The god of the Hun Kingdom wanted to attack the others in the Shi Kingdom, but this time Sumo brought the strong ones. Another angel stared at him, but he didn't get it so easily. In this way, after fighting for more than half an hour, the gods of the Hun Kingdom couldn't hold on anymore. He had come too often before, and it was only half an hour before he felt that the suppression of the world of gods had become extremely ferocious. Substitution. He returned directly to the heaven. The star god Horton descends again and fights Sumo. Damn it, if it weren't for those demon gods. Holden is equally depressed and aggrieved. He was beaten badly by Sumo before. Now, he can only defend with all his strength. After finally persisting for half an hour, the god of the Bahia Kingdom came again. For an hour and a half, he definitely couldn't hold on. The god of Hun Kingdom hummed in the kingdom of God. Time passed little by little. The god of Bahia Kingdom is quite powerful, but still can't help Sumo, but Sumo has mastered the rhythm. Finally, at 20 minutes, the god of the Bahia Kingdom could hardly hold on anymore. But Sumo is still alive and well. How is it possible? How did he do it? The god of the Hun Kingdom has collapsed again. It's all to blame for those demon gods. He scolded the demon gods who had been killed for a few days again. It's not the demon gods who have been killed in a few days, they can last for at least an hour. They won't be so timid when they fight. It is really too much consumption before, they dare not spend too much divine power with a single blow. Let's go together. The god of the Hun Kingdom regretted again, regretting not being able to go together before. Now, they didn't have much time to rest, and when they came again, they could only last for a few minutes. A few minutes is enough. The god of the Hun Kingdom and the star god Horton descended excitedly again. This time, 3 gods descended at the same time. Kill him directly. The god of the Hun Kingdom has no nonsense. They only have the last few minutes, be careful. Saintess Shui worries about Sumo. The 3 aggressively attacked Sumo. Sumo snorted softly, and then, outrageously launched an attack. How dare you fight back? Kill him. All 3 gods were angry. Sumo's attacks just don't cost money, and they keep coming. After the previous tossing and turning, they all came to a dead end. The 3 gods, facing the attack of Sumo alone, were beaten and could only be passively defended. Damn it. The god of the Hun Kingdom is crying. It's all to blame for that damn demon, Long Nail, and your sister's nail. The god of the Hun Kingdom scolded the Long Nail demon god. So frustrating, so depressing, so unbearable. He was a dignified devil, and he was about to vomit blood. This feeling is 100 times more depressing than losing. Not only him, Horton is the same as the god of Bahia Kingdom. The god of the Bahia Kingdom is very sorry and should not be involved. Because he feels that after this fight, the back half of his body will be depressed. Damn it. Unwilling, the god of the Hun Kingdom could no longer hold on, and had to leave. The other 2 gods were completely unable to hold on. Also had to leave. God was beaten away. It's over. Seeing that the 3 gods were actually driven away, the protagonists and villains in the capital were desperate. As soon as these 3 gods ran away, there was no suspense in the battle in the capital. After just over an hour, all the fighting was over. The capital of the Hun Kingdom, just like this, was captured by Sumo in the extreme depression and humiliation of the 3 gods. He took the capital. When I got this news, in the heavens, the goddess Shi blossomed with joy. How did the Earl of Moshi Land do it? I read the news on the forum and said that there was a demon who made trouble before. Even if there are demon gods making trouble, he will have to deal with 3 gods in the end. This is simply invincible. How does this make our protagonist play? Don't be afraid, he relies on the power of God after all. As long as we grow up and become gods ourselves, we can still fight with him. On the Protagonist forum, when the news that the capital of the Hun Kingdom had been taken down spread to the forum, there was a heated discussion again. Many protagonists exclaimed. The protagonists in some surrounding kingdoms shivered there. Damn, This holy moon kingdom can't stay anymore. I knew I wouldn't be coming to the capital. What the hell, it's not easy to escape now. In the capital of a kingdom, a protagonist muttered. Although he is now in a good position in the capital. But he really didn't dare to escape from the capital now. Several silver villains are staring at him. These villains are so stupid. The Earl of Moishi Land is going to kill you, and you will finish the game together. The protagonist was depressed enough. Everyone stabilized their mentality. I don't believe it. There are hundreds of us, and we can't fight him alone. That's right. Let's work harder. When the time comes, we'll give him a big wave. No, a big one. I suggest uniting more protagonists who are threatened by him and deal with him together. That's a good idea. The Earl of Moishi Land doesn't know how many gold fingers he has. Once he kills him, the gold fingers will explode all over the place, and there are definitely a lot of people staring at him. The group of emulator protagonists with hundreds of people was also very lively. These protagonists cheer each other up one by one, with a momentum of not giving up if they don't kill Sumo. I am afraid that this wave of Earl of Moishi Land will kill a lot of protagonists and villains. Brother Mo, how much have you earned this time? Can you catch up with him? The record is over 30, and I just got promoted to a gold finger. It is difficult to catch up with him in terms of power, but I am confident in terms of strength. 666, Brother Mo has actually risen to gold finger. I have to kill a few silver villains, right? Brother Mo v5a1/4. In the other villain group, the gold level villain, Brother Mo, is a bit lustful. This wave, his actions are not small. Although compared with Sumo, he is still a younger brother, but the current Brother Mo, the first target, is not Sumo anymore. But on the villain leaderboard, a few ahead of him. Didn't even make the top 3. Still want to surpass the first. Boom. When the forum was lively, the Hun Kingdom, in a city, the temple was completely destroyed. After winning the Hun capital, the Shui Kingdom adopted the same strategy as the New Moon Kingdom. A large number of people were dispatched to destroy the temple of the Hun Kingdom overnight. Destroy a few more temples, and there will be flaws in the divine light. Once all are destroyed, the divine light cast will become extremely weak. Combined with the strategy of dividing the land, it is enough to disintegrate the basis of belief in the god behind the Hun Kingdom. With New Moon Kingdom's homework ahead, Shui Kingdom's copying the homework was much easier. It is easier for Shui Kingdom to do these things. Because the strength of Shui Kingdom has not been damaged, there are more sanctuaries and more angels. Naturally, these things have nothing to do with Sumo. Sumo is taking stock of his gains. After winning the Hun Kingdom, the protagonists and villains in the capital were all taken care of by Sumo. Several silver villains were going to run. But in the Hun royal capital at that time, the flying boat could not lift into the air at all, and it was extremely dangerous to fly into the sky. He could only walk from the ground. As a result, the capital was in chaos, and there were too many people on the ground. In the end, of the 4 silver villains, only one escaped. The other 3 were caught by Sumo before they could escape. There are also some bronze villains, also caught by Sumo. The silver-level protagonist in the royal capital was also captured. There are also several bronze protagonists. There are not as many protagonists in the original New Moon capital, because some protagonists have been killed by the silver villains. Through these protagonists and villains, Sumo smoothly knows the positions of other protagonists and villains. This time, the probability of catching the protagonist will be smaller. Because many protagonists ran away overnight. The villains also ran overnight, especially some who grabbed Gold Finger. The strength of the villain in the early stage, more, does not depend on his own strength, but on identity, status, and power. The protagonist runs easily. If they don't have Gold Finger, it's going to be hard to get out. However, under the threat of Sumo, several bronze-level villains agreed to cooperate. Sumo asked the people from the Holy See of Shui to bring a bronze-level villain on several flying boats. Through their early warning distance, along the way, you can always meet some protagonists. Many protagonists do not have flying boats, and even on horseback, it is impossible to run far in one night. On the second day, the harvest was good. Although the protagonist ran all night, but through several bronze-level villains, he really bumped into a few. A total of 5 protagonists were caught, and a few villains were also caught. In the end, after turning over the fertilizer, another critical strike. Sumo's villain value income once again broke 10,000. The probability of high critical strike multiplier is getting higher and higher. Sumo made a discovery. The effect of air transport value is becoming more and more important. Sumo feels that if his luck value is still negative, the probability of finding the protagonist may also become very low. 35,000 villains worth. After this wave, the number of Sumo villains exceeded 35,000. Just over 14,000, you can upgrade to a legendary gold finger. After getting all these gains, Sumo left the Hun Kingdom. Soon, Sumo returned to Shi Kingdom. Reappeared in the temple of the goddess Shi. Soon after Sumo appeared, the goddess Shi came down and projected. On the face of the goddess Shi, there was an incomparably bright smile. This smile can be described as an authentic allure. Thank you. The eyes of the goddess Shi are also like a crooked moon. Goddesses are welcome. Sumo said. This is the divine power promised to you. The goddess Shi handed Sumo a ball of divine power. A big group. Sumo took a look and saw that there were quite a few divine powers in this group. Well over 500 drops. There are already 1,000 drops. Goddess, you have given too much, Sumo said. Hearing Sumo's words, Goddess Shi's eyes brightened. Up to now, she was extremely sure of her guess. Otherwise, how could Sumo, a holy son, need divine power? Otherwise, how could Sumo know the amount of these divine powers so accurately? It must be the reincarnation of a once powerful deity. If it was just the reincarnation of a powerful god, Goddess Shi, as a goddess of Sunere, would not be able to flatter or something. To curry favor with a reincarnated deity who has not yet grown up, it would be better to curry favor with those celestial giants. As a proud goddess, she would not do such a thing. However, I don't know why, after meeting with Sumo a few times, Sumo gave her a very special feeling. The first time they met, Sumo almost attracted her. As if Sumo's body has a fatal attraction. It made her curious about Sumo and wanted to know Sumo's story. This battle is much smoother than I imagined. The extra 500 drops is an extra reward. Goddess Shi said. Thank you, goddess. Sumo was no more polite. 1,000 drops of divine power, even if you have a kingdom with a population of over 100 million, will take more than half a year to accumulate. With so much divine power, more than 2,000 drops of primary light and dark divine power can be condensed. If more than 2,000 drops of primary light and dark power are further condensed, more than 30 drops of intermediate light and dark power with greater power can also be condensed. The goddess Shi said. You're welcome. If you still need other things, such as things that enhance the divine body, I can also collect them for you. Vera and I have very good personalities. Sumo gave a hum and put away his divine power. After the goddess Shi finished speaking, she didn't know what to think, and said, after this battle, Yinyu and the others may also be moved, and they also want to ask you to take action. There is no problem with them, but if it is Dark Moon, you have to be careful, you'd better not agree. Dark Moon Goddess? Sumo's heart moved and asked. Shi nodded. Well, it's her, she is the most powerful one among us, and I can't tell you too much. In short, you have to be careful of her. Sumo made an O, and didn't ask any further. If you keep asking, Goddess Shi probably won't say anything. Goddess, the Holy Moon Goddess is visiting. It was guessed by the Goddess Shi. When Sumo was in the temple and saw the Goddess Shi, the goddess of the new moon welcomed another visitor. Dark Moon Goddess. In the palace, Sumo sat there, whispering. As far as Sumo knows, the 7 goddesses of the moon used to be very united and unanimous. At that time, all the other kingdoms around their kingdom were trembling. For fear that they will unite to expand. Although they can't be like Sumo, they can directly take the capital and hit the key points. However, when the 7 goddesses united, one city were pushed across, and the power was also very great. It just takes a very long time and consumes a lot of power. And once the kingdom war has been played for a long time, there may still be uncertain factors. But I don't know when, they will no longer be so harmonious. The reason for this, no one knows. Sumo's understanding of the 7 goddesses of the moon only gradually increased after he came into contact with the goddess of the new moon, and he also does not know the reason for this. But this time, the words of the goddess Shi made Sumo feel. The discord between the 7 goddesses of the moon seems to be caused by the goddess of the dark moon. This discovery let Sumo have some guesswork. Will it be her? Sumo thought. His mind went back to 10 years ago. Damn it. Succubus, I must kill you. In a huge demon castle, there was a roar of a demon king. This is a 10th order demon king. This demon king occupies an abyss alone. In the upper layers of the abyss, there are a lot of demon kings like this. They do not belong to any demon dynasty, they occupy an abyss by themselves and live happily in it. In the eyes of the devil, these abyss are extremely barren, and they are not interested at all. These demon kings are doing their own tyrants in it, and there is a feeling that the sky is high and the emperor is far away, and the world is free for me. At this time, Sumo was still a big demon of the 9th order. However, he is about to reach the 10th order. So, Sumo is going to use this 10th order demon king to temper himself. Although this demon king's bloodline is not high, the 350 power is there. Boom boom, the two sides fought a war. With the strength of the 9th rank, Sumo challenges the 10th rank, the pressure is extremely huge. A careless may even confess, but his succubus bloodline is not low at this time. It also allowed Sumo to play a super powerful battle. He fought the 10th order demon king for an hour, but still no winner. This 10th order demon king was also furious and roared again and again. Damn Ida 1/4 A. Finally, Sumo found an opportunity and killed the 10th order demon king in one fell swoop. After killing the 10th order demon king, Sumo let out a long howl. A powerful aura emerged from his body. He also finally rose from the 9th order demon king to the 10th order demon king in one fell swoop, becoming the 10th order demon king. And on this day, it happened to be the 10th year of his transmigration. In 10 years, he became a 10th order demon king. This speed, compared with other demons, is too fast. But actually, Sumo didn't really grow that long. Because Sumo spends more time on upgrading bloodlines. Bloodline is not the same as specific realm in strength. But bloodline is crucial to demons. His succubus bloodline was not high at the beginning, so Sumo spent a lot of time collecting resources to upgrade his bloodline. After the bloodline rises, the subsequent growth will be extremely fast. Ha ha ha. Sumo is very happy after becoming the 10th order demon king. In the distance, the demons who belonged to the previous demon king were all terrified, and they squatted on the ground one after another, expressing their submission to the new demon king. At this time, in the sky, suddenly, a figure fell. Sumo's response was quick, and with a stretch of his hand, he caught the figure. Humanity? Sumo saw that this figure, in appearance, was actually a human. Not just a human being, but a woman as well. A woman who is too beautiful to describe with any pen and ink. After traveling for so long, Sumo has never seen such a beautiful and perfect woman before or after her travel. Even some elves that exist in the world of gods are far inferior to this woman. At this time, the woman was extremely weak, and it seemed that she was almost in a coma. When she felt the devil's breath on Sumo, she mustered up her last strength and wanted to attack Sumo. How could Sumo give her a chance? Directly blocked all her power. At this time, Sumo has risen to a very high level of succubus blood and trembled. The devil. The change of the succubus lineage let Sumo know that there is an extremely powerful demon god coming. In the woman's eyes, she suddenly panicked. This devil is here to find her. Sumo reacted. Don't move, I can save you. After Sumo flicked a sentence, he quickly threw the woman into a space bag, and then put the space bag on his chest. Covered with a powerful demon king breath. Then, Sumo felt that a powerful will was quietly sweeping through this abyss. The devil king Bachi is dead. From today onwards, this king is your new master. Do you all hear the name? Sumo pretended to be nonchalant and let out a roar at the demons crawling below. Got it. Demon king. Many demons breathed a sigh of relief. In the upper layers of the abyss, there are some demons of low blood, and they rarely live in groups. They don't care who the new devil is, as long as the devil doesn't kill them, that's fine. What are you still doing? Repairing the damaged parts of the castle to this king. After Sumo roared, he flew into the castle. The extremely powerful demon gods will passed quietly, and no abnormality was found. After entering the castle, Sumo breathed a sigh of relief. Not long after the demon gods were left, Sumo quietly set up a magic circle. Then, he opened that space bag. After opening it, Sumo discovered that the woman in the space bag had passed out. The woman was in a coma for a long time. I didn't wake up until the third day. After waking up, seeing Sumo, her beautiful face was full of vigilance. If I wanted to kill you, you would have died a long time ago. Tell me, who are you, and why is the devil looking for you? Sumo said lightly. It is absolutely possible that the will of the devil will come to this woman. To be able to make a demon god miss this woman is definitely not easy. You must know that even the 10th order demon king is like an ant in the eyes of the demon god. Don't care at all. What's more, how could the demon god be accessible to ordinary people? A demon king wants to take the initiative to find the demon god, but if he searches for dozens or hundreds of years, he may not be able to find it. Go to some demon dynasties with demon gods behind them? You can't pass the demon dynasty. What qualifications do you have to meet the demon god? A human actually ran into the abyss and provoked the devil. The identity of this woman makes Sumo curious. The woman lay there silently, without speaking, ignoring Sumo. Sumo didn't ask any more questions when she saw that she didn't give in. But on the side, silently consolidating his strength. He just broke through the demon king, and he still needs to consolidate. Coincidentally, after killing the demon king Bachi, all the resources stored in this guy's castle belonged to Sumo. There are a lot of abyss fruits that were very precious to Sumo at that time. And some other resources. Sumo was in the castle, silently consolidating. Women don't talk every day, and they don't seem to be hungry. Just lying there silently in a daze. Sleeping more often, sleeping like a sleeping beauty. Eat or not? I've eliminated the demon energy in it. Another day passed, and Sumo handed her a fruit. The woman did not eat. Sumo tried his new skills while eating devil fruit. Time passed day by day, and in the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Here we go again. Sumo found that almost every other day, the will of the devil passed by. At this time, he will hide the woman. This also made him more curious about this woman, and actually made the demon god find it reluctantly. The time for a woman to fall asleep gradually decreases every day, and slowly, her attention on Sumo also increases. She seemed to notice that Sumo, the demon king in the abyss, was somewhat different from other demons and other demon kings. There are still 4 days before the passage becomes weak. After 4 days, I can send you out of the abyss. I don't need you to repay anything. It's been a long time since I've seen a human being, so let's take it as our fate. On this day, seeing the woman looking at him, Sumo said lightly. Hearing Sumo's words, the woman's expression changed a bit. She should be puzzled why Sumo let her go. However, she did not speak. Sumo continues to build on his strength. Time passes day by day. The woman's injuries appear to be recovering, and she has been able to sit up. She curled up there, knees bent, looking out the window from time to time, and Sumo from time to time. He looked helpless. In the look, from time to time, there is also confusion. Finally, the 10th day is approaching. At this time, Sumo, who had just become a demon king, could not go back and forth between the abyss and the world of gods too freely. He also didn't find too many passages. He needs to wait for the opportunity to leave the abyss when the passage is the weakest. 10 days passed, and the woman had been sitting on the bed. This makes Sumo more convinced that she is not simple. She didn't eat anything, drink any water, or go to the toilet or anything. 10 days passed, and she didn't have any sweat on her body, and she still looked flawless. It also has a faint scent. If it was an ordinary woman, how could it be possible? This is definitely a very high level of strength, replacing food with energy, and being able to achieve absolute control over his body. The passage is getting weaker. I'll take you out early tomorrow morning. Sumo said to the woman sitting there. The blood moon is dimming. This means that in the world of the gods, night has come. There is no sun in the abyss, but through the change of blood moonlight, it is basically synchronized with the day and night of the world of gods. Sumo's strength is also almost consolidated. He is going to go out for a walk, and take her away early tomorrow morning. After walking around in the abyss, Sumo returned to the castle again. However, this time back in the castle, Sumo felt something was wrong. In the castle, it was dark. the darkness of the 5 fingers is not seen. Such darkness is actually nothing to Sumo, who has reached the Demon King level. Even with his eyes closed, he can know everything around him. So, Sumo went into the dark. But this time, things were a little different. Darkness shrouded everything, even Sumo's perception of the surroundings was limited. Immediately after, Sumo felt that behind him, someone appeared. This person's hand was placed on his back, and in the palm of his hand, there was a ray of palpitating power. Sumo reacts. It's that woman. She is a god. Feeling the horror of that ray of power, this thought flashed through Sumo's mind. This woman is a god. It seems that he is still a god of heaven. A god of the heavens, actually ran into the abyss. At this time, the woman's palm has a ray of divine power. This should be her last strength. Once she detonated, ordinary demon kings would definitely not survive. Sumo didn't panic, because he wasn't an ordinary demon king. In addition to divine power, this woman's divine power is too weak. The injury she suffered was not light, and it was the limit for her to be able to adjust this trace of divine power in a few days. Is that how you treat your savior? Sumo said lightly. The woman did not speak. Sumo turned around. Then, he stretched out his hand, grabbed the woman's hand, and placed it on his chest. When attacking from the front, the power of your divine power is more powerful. Sumo said. The woman still didn't speak. Her hand was on Sumo's chest. 1 second. 2 seconds. 10 seconds. After 10 seconds passed, the woman moved. But she didn't attack. Instead, a delicate body flung itself into Sumo's arms. Cold lips, printed on Sumo's lips. This night was extremely long. Also incredibly wonderful. A goddess who became the woman of Sumo, who was still the demon king. Thinking about it now, Sumo feels that this matter is not so simple. Women aren't just for retribution or something. Because, during that process, Sumo felt that there was a dark power inside the woman. This power polluted her own power. In that process, the woman passes this energy through that way. Little by little, it was transmitted to Sumo's body. This also makes Sumo's strength even further. Above the Demon King is a demigod, but actually, Demon King realm is a big realm. The Demon King and the Sanctuary are all 10th order. However, there is a difference between a Demon Lord and a Demon Lord. In the realm of the devil or the Sanctuary, the farther you go, the more powerful you will be after you become a god. In the human world, there are some subdivisions. Sanctuary Tier 1, Sanctuary Tier 2, Sanctuary Tier 3. The highest, currently the Sanctuary Tier 3. Because the most powerful sanctuary has only come this far. Such a sanctuary has only appeared once in history. Sanctuary 3rd Order, not a demigod, the combat power displayed is not weaker than a demigod. After this woman transmitted that dark energy to Sumo. Sumo spent a lot of time digesting it. He came directly to the 4th rank of Demon King. This is an unprecedented Demon King in the abyss. Then, Sumo half became a demigod, also the strongest demigod. That night was actually more than one night, but day and night. Finally, Sumo fell into a deep sleep. When he woke up, the woman had disappeared. Since then, Sumo has never seen this woman again. I haven't heard the slightest bit of news from her. Until Sumo became a powerful demon, still don't know who she is. Vaguely. Sumo only remembers that, at certain moments that night, a crooked moon mark appeared on the woman's forehead. 10 years have passed. Sumo didn't go to her on purpose. He chose the goddess of the crescent moon, more for divine energy. At the time, laying out in the crescent kingdom was indeed the easiest for Sumo. However, the mark on the woman's forehead made Sumo feel that this woman, maybe one of the 7 goddesses of the moon. Or maybe not. Moon imprint is not patented. After hearing Goddess Shi mention it today, I think of the name of Goddess Dark Moon and the discord between the 7 goddesses. Sumo vaguely felt that if the woman at the time was one of the 7 goddesses of the moon, it is very likely that it is the goddess of the dark moon. The woman at the time was obviously using the power of the abyss, but she was obviously out of control. The 7 goddesses of the moon, it is very likely that disputes and differences have arisen because of her behavior. After all, it is not a good thing for a celestial god to actually touch the power of the abyss. Dark moon, her strength attribute, should be the dark side itself. Therefore, she will try to contact the power of the abyss. I don't know if it's for shortcuts. Although the 7 goddesses of the moon were unhappy, they all kept the secret. So, no one knows this. If that woman is the dark moon goddess, then this guess should be the closest to reality. At this time, in the kingdom of the goddess of the new moon, a goddess with a dignified appearance was chatting with the goddess of the new moon. This goddess is the holy moon goddess. The temperament of the holy moon goddess is different from that of new moon and Shui. She is like a kind big sister next door, and her voice is quite gentle. The kingdom of the holy moon goddess is the holy moon kingdom. North of the crescent kingdom, it is also the northernmost country among the 7 goddesses of the moon. Her intention this time was very simple, and she also wanted to borrow Sumo. Goddess Shui guessed right. After she used Sumo to win a kingdom at almost no cost, the other goddesses of the 7 goddesses of the moon were also tempted. Kingdom expansion is a headache for many gods. Unless you have a crushing advantage, once you start a kingdom-level war, it may become a protracted war. That would be very difficult. Some kingdom-level wars have been fought for a few years, and even if a kingdom is finally captured, the loss is huge, and I don't know how long it will take to make up for it. The appearance of Sumo obviously provides a shortcut. Sister Mina, do you want to win the Bahia kingdom? In the kingdom of gods, the new moon goddess asked. The holy moon goddess said, well, the Bahia kingdom is adjacent to my country, and my country has developed quite well in recent years, but there are too many mountains, and the population is almost too large. The Bahia kingdom has many plains, which is just right for me. The goddess of the new moon was somewhat envious. Sister Mina, your country is well governed. The concept of each god is different, and the development of the kingdom is also different. Some gods are high above, and they themselves do not understand the governance of the kingdom, so they seldom take care of the specific affairs of the kingdom. There are also some gods who will pay more attention to these. Such as the holy moon goddess. The area of her kingdom is not as large as that of the crescent goddess, and there are many mountains and hills in it. This also greatly limits development. However, the holy moon goddess is better at governing the kingdom, and will send down oracles from time to time. She occasionally sends blessings on a large scale to make the land more fertile and the climate more favorable. She even came down in person, expending her divine power, to divert a large river that was flooding every year, eliminating the flood. Under her rule, the population of her kingdom surpassed that of the Crescent Kingdom. The people in the kingdom are also more religious. However, the topography and area are still very limited. The east of her country is next to the sea, and if you want to expand, you can only go west and north. The Bahia kingdom in the west is naturally the first choice. The holy moon goddess said, Vera, your kingdom is not bad. This time after your kingdom expands, if you manage it properly, the faith you get can be several times higher than it is now. The goddess of the new moon nodded. Well, Sister Mina, I will often ask you for advice in the future. After chatting here, the holy moon goddess talked about Sumo again. Vera, the star gods on the nearby stars have been talking about your holy son. I also learned about your holy son's situation from this. You also know that once the kingdom war starts, it will last for a long time, so, I want to borrow your holy son. Holy Moon Road. The new moon goddess is not too surprised. Sister Mina, Mo has gone through several battles recently. I want to ask his opinion first to see if he is willing. The new moon goddess said. Vera, then I'll wait for your news. The holy moon goddess smiled. The holy moon goddess bid farewell. After the goddess of the new moon sent away the goddess of the holy moon, she was ready to contact Sumo. This time, naturally, she also helped Sumo negotiate the terms with the holy moon goddess. In her opinion, this matter, whether it is for Sumo or the holy moon goddess, is beneficial. The holy moon goddess expands the kingdom, and Sumo can also get a lot of non-attribute divine power. However, the goddess of the new moon has not had time to contact Sumo. Another goddess came to visit. This time, it was the silver moon goddess. The silver moon goddess has silver hair. As a moon goddess, her temperament is similar to other moon goddesses. The power of the moon is more cold and soft. It also makes the goddess of the silver moon seem petty to me. Vera, I heard that Shui used your holy son to take down the Hun Kingdom. The intention of the silver moon goddess was also obvious. The goddess of the new moon gave a hum. The silver moon goddess came to be interested. Vera, can I borrow a few days too? The silver moon goddess mentioned this. Obviously, she also wants to expand the country. The new moon goddess is still the same rhetoric. After explaining the general conditions, the silver moon goddess is sent away. Here. The silver moon goddess just left. The morning moon goddess is here again. One of the 7 goddesses of the moon, the goddess of the moon, visited one after another. There is only one purpose. That is to borrow sumo. Sumo has become a sweet pastry. Vera, you've been hit by me. After the 4 goddesses visited one after another, the goddess Shi also came. The new moon goddess nodded. Well, Yinyu Shengyue Chenyue and the others are here. The goddess Shi asked curiously, Dark moon, is there any coming? The new moon goddess shook her head. Not yet, she is stronger than us, maybe she doesn't need it. The goddess Shi said, that's not necessarily the case. Her country is at the southernmost end, and some surrounding countries have united and found a backer. She wants to expand on her own, but it's not that easy. The goddess of the new moon said, it doesn't matter if she doesn't come, the expansion of her country is too difficult to make too risky. When the goddess of the new moon is thinking about things, she still thinks more about sumo. Goddess Shi snorted lightly, with dissatisfaction in her tone. I can't agree to come here, if it wasn't for her insistence. How could we be so stiff? Goddess Crescent Moon and Goddess Shi finished chatting, and they were ready to contact Sumo. Soon, Sumo got the news. Then, he went to the temple. The goddesses Shengyue, Yinyu, Chenyue, and Yinyue have all come to me. They all want to borrow you, and I have negotiated with them on the same conditions as Shiui's. The new moon goddess said. Goddess, are there 4 goddesses in total?
Sumo asked. New moon goddess. Well, there are 4 goddesses in total.
It seemed that the dark moon goddess did not go to her. The expression on Sumo's face didn't change, and he said, what is the opinion of the goddess? The new moon goddess said, you can help the holy moon goddess first, just as she is about to take the Bahia kingdom. The star god Bahia consumes a lot this time, and it will be easier for you to deal with it. Sumo was very cheerful and said, okay, then it's according to the goddess. Whether the woman from 10 years ago is the goddess of the dark moon can be verified later. Earn this wave of divine power first. In addition, this wave can also sweep the protagonists and villains in the Holy Moon Kingdom. After sweeping across the Holy Moon Kingdom and the Bahia Kingdom. Although now the protagonist hides more tightly and is less easy to find. But you can always find some. Adding the 2 kingdoms together should make Sumo's villain worth 50,000. Then, Sumo can upgrade his crit talent to legendary. After rising to the legendary level, this talent may be able to produce a critical strike on Sumo's own harvest. That would be great. After the new moon goddess got Sumo's reply, she returned to the heaven and contacted the holy moon goddess. Not long after, Sumo met the holy moon goddess in the shrine of the crescent moon goddess. The holy moon goddess was also a little surprised when she met Sumo. Although her brain tonic ability is not as strong as Shiui's, she also noticed the special features of Sumo. It was a pleasure meeting this time. Preparations before the war, how to fight, I can let you take full responsibility, and the Holy Sea will fully cooperate with you. After a simple conversation, the Holy Moon Goddess said. With the examples of the New Moon Kingdom and the Shiui Kingdom, the Holy Moon Kingdom obviously doesn't need to talk much. Before I go to the Holy Moon Kingdom, the goddess will not reveal the rumors, I will go to the Holy Moon Kingdom tomorrow. Sumo specifically asked. This is to worry that the protagonist and villain in the Holy Moon Kingdom will run away as soon as the wind blows out. Okay. The Holy Moon Goddess is very cooperative. Then, make a deal. Sumo stretched out his hand. Rao is a graceful Holy Moon Goddess. Seeing Sumo's actions, she couldn't help but feel at a loss. Like the original goddess Shiui, she glanced at the goddess of the new moon. Seeing the new moon goddess seemed to be used to it, the Holy Moon Goddess bit her head and stretched out her little hand. My heart beat faster than ever. Vera, your holy son is a bit special. Gives me an indescribable feeling. After returning to the heaven, the heartbeat of the Holy Moon Goddess has not recovered. The goddess of the new moon didn't know what she thought, and asked, What's the matter, Sister Mina? I can't tell. Vera, Protect him well, his soul is so pure and so special, there must be a lot of demon gods interested in him. Halfway through speaking, the holy moon goddess looked at the new moon goddess and instructed. Goddess, the angel of the dark moon goddess sent a letter. At this time, in the kingdom of goddess of the new moon, an angel's voice sounded. Dark moon's letter. Soon, the angel sent the dark moon goddess letter. Vera, I'll go first. The holy moon goddess bid farewell. Seeing the holy moon goddess leave, the new moon goddess sighed. Seeing that the holy moon goddess had left, the new moon goddess opened the letter and read it. Dark moon Shi. After just looking at a few lines, the pretty face of the new moon goddess was full of surprises. Huh, elf? At the same time, in the wild continent. In the sky, there was a whisper. Haha, I finally met an elves, grab one and go back to warm the bed. The soft-hued master laughed. Then, in the sky, a huge dragon of 350 swooped down from the clouds. Queen, dragon. On the ground, among the elf army that was attacking a tribe, an elf discovered an abnormality in the sky. Elf Queen Adele looked up and saw the black spot that swooped down. With her eyesight, she can see clearly that this black spot is a giant dragon. Dragons, adults have the strength of the 6th order or above. The size of this giant dragon is not small, and its strength is probably not weak. No, more than one dragon. Because, more dragons in the sky also swoop down. The size of these dragons is not as big as the front one. A whoosh whoosh, seeing these giant dragons swooping down, a large number of elves bent bows and arrows. The archery of the elves is very powerful. However, the defensive power of the dragon scales at the forefront was too high, and their arrows could not penetrate the dragon scales at all. Can't even break the defense. A large number of fairy dragons also rushed up and launched magic on this giant dragon. However, the growth time of these fairy dragons is still short, and the magic resistance of the dragon scales itself is also very high. Their magic, there is no way to take this dragon. Ha ha ha, despair. My dragon is not only immune to physics, but also immune to magic. I am the master of powerful dragons, elves, surrender. On the dragon's body, an arrogant voice sounded. This guy is also a protagonist. His system is a system for raising dragons. With his own system, this guy successfully raised a 7th order giant dragon in more than a month. Also raised a few dragons. Seeing that the giant dragon has reached the 7th rank and its strength has become stronger, this guy is ready to go out to find the villain to hunt and kill. Anyway, the dragon can fly, fast and agile. If the situation is not right, he can still run away. Not long after this guy came out of the mountain, the villain didn't find it, but he met the elves. Seeing that the elves are so beautiful, this guy has his mind. Queen, be careful. Seeing that the giant dragon was so powerful, the surrounding elves all gathered around. The elf Queen Adele's face remained unchanged. She took out a bow, and bent the bow and arrow in one go. Then, hearing a whoosh sound, an arrow with magical fluctuations shot out. In the next second, the dragon was shot through by her arrow. Ow! The dragon screamed in pain. IFCK. The protagonist of Raising Dragon turned pale with fright. This FCK just came out of the mountain, and he turned off before he was handsome for 3 seconds? Don't kill him yet. A voice sounded. On the back of the dead dragon, the protagonist of Raising the Dragon shivered. Although the surrounding are surrounded by incomparably beautiful elves, but these elves are not polite to him. Especially the elven queen Adele who wears a crown. Too tough. All his dragons were slain by Adele. After the fall, the dragon-raising protagonist originally wanted to beg the elves with his own protagonist charm. But there was no elf bird at all for him. Even, Adele has directly ordered to kill the protagonist. However, Shi Wei, who was hidden in the dark, saw the abnormality. Shi Wei felt that this guy might be the protagonist the master was looking for. Naturally, she didn't know about this confrontation game. The name of the protagonist was told to her by Sumo, and also gave her some general characteristics of the main character. For example, there will be some obvious differences between behavior and people in this world. For another example, these protagonists will grow very fast and can do things that are incredible in the eyes of many people. Soon, Shi Wei informed Sumo. At this time, Sumo had just returned to the Abyss. This trip to deal with the Bahia Kingdom, Sumo also has some arrangements. Without using the demon god, in fact, it is completely possible. However, Sumo doesn't make things too troublesome when it comes to solving problems easily and happily. Also, Sumo was happy to see those 3 celestial deities exploded in mentality, took their kingdom, and broke their mentality. The dignified celestial gods, or some old-fashioned powerful gods, have all been made into depression. Everyone cried. Many demon gods in the abyss actually like to make fun of people like this. However, none of them play as well as Sumo. If other demons know about it, you will have to call Sumo 666. After being informed by Shi Wei, Sumo appeared on the wild continent. Soon, Sumo meets the restless dragon-raising protagonist, the Earl of the Blackstone Land. The dragon-raising protagonist saw Sumo and his face turned white after he got Sumo's identity from the protagonist panel. Special. It is actually the first in the villain list, the notorious Earl of Moishi Land. Although he grew up in the wild continent, he naturally knew the name of the Earl of Moishi Land. On the protagonist forum, the Earl of Moishi Land will cause a lot of heated discussion. From time to time, he would be able to see that some of the protagonists were tortured by the Earl of Moishi Land, crying and crying. At that time, he was still happy there. Fortunately, he was in the wild continent. The savage continent and the god continent are separated by a sea, and this sea is very dangerous. Even if you can fly, it's not necessarily safe. The danger here is, to some extent, the intention of the sea gods. Only in this way, the passing ships can pray to them with great piety and provide them with faith. The number of beliefs depends not only on the population, but also on the degree of piety. If they are equally pious, an ordinary person and a powerful magician will provide different beliefs. Of course, the reality is that the faith of magicians is often inferior to that of ordinary people. In many cases, the more powerful you are, the more you know about the world, and the belief in God is not as pious and fanatical as some ordinary people. This, for the gods of the world of gods, is an unsolvable paradox. It is precisely because of this that the protagonist of Raising Dragons is not worried about the supervillain, the Earl of Mo Shilling. They are all separated by a continent. Can he still reach out? Even if the Earl of the Blackstone territory has already taken control of the New Moon Kingdom, there is no way to reach out across a continent. At that time, every day I saw other protagonists being abused by the Earl of the Blackstone Land. This dragon-raising protagonist still had some schadenfreude. He even thought that when his strength became stronger, he would go to the Earl of Moishi Land. Take the Earl of Moishi Land as your stepping stone. But who knows? The Earl of the Blackstone territory really appeared in the wilderness continent. Appeared in front of him. This guy. Scared to pee. Why is the Earl of Moishi Land in the wilderness continent? The protagonist broke down and cried out in a group of protagonists. Then, he didn't know anything. Silver protagonist. Sumo whispers. Originally, he thought that the protagonist was a gold-level protagonist, but he did not expect that this protagonist was just a lucky silver-level protagonist. The reason for the good luck is that the location where the protagonist traverses is very good. Perfect for his dragon-raising system. Therefore, his development was very fast, and within 2 months, he raised a 7th-order giant dragon. Then, this guy's debut became a trip to deliver a courier. Although it is at the silver level, this dragon-raising system is not bad. Sumo also happily accepted. You kill a silver-level protagonist and get 500 villain value and 20 luck. A prompt appears. Sumo saw that the protagonist's villain value was critically hit to 2000, and his luck was quadrupled, and the critical hit was 80. 4x crit. Not bad. One step closer to the legendary gold finger. After spending 500 villain points to incorporate the silver-level protagonist dragon-raising system, Sumo did not rush to upgrade to the gold level. Wait until you upgrade to a legendary gold finger. Then, he looked at the usage of the dragon-raising system. After this dragon-raising system was incorporated, it was naturally brand new. The dragons raised by the protagonist before were loyal to the protagonist and could not be included, so Sumo killed them. Build dragon nests, buy dragon eggs, and grow dragon grass. Sumo whispers. He operates. Soon, a dragon's nest appeared on a mountain on the other side of the elves' tree of life. After some operations, the first dragon appeared. This is the dragon that belongs to Sumo. Interesting. Sumo whispers. The usage of this system is very simple. Each dragon will get a certain growth value every day. Then, let them do anything, such as hunting, and they can also get growth points. To buy dragon eggs, you need gold coins. The system will give you a certain amount of initial gold coins. Completing the task will also give you some gold coins. This is where the luck of the silver level protagonist lies. The location where this guy appeared after crossing. There is a small gold mine nearby. In that small gold mine, there are several hundred caddies of gold, which is equivalent to nearly 100,000 gold coins. This guy's luck is very good. However, when he met Sumo, whose luck value has exceeded 6,000, he could only become a rich boy. Nani? The Earl of the Blackstone Land has come to the wilderness continent? IFCK. Don't scare me. There are not many protagonists in such a remote place in the wilderness continent. What is he doing here? I wiped it. Sun Jun's profile picture is black. He must have been killed. He should not lie. Didn't the Earl of Moishi Land just win a kingdom yesterday? Why did he come to the wilderness continent today? What's the matter? I thought the wilderness continent was safe, but when he came, I suddenly lost my mind. At this time, a group of protagonists has already made a mess. Many of the protagonists in this protagonist group are in the wild continent. The number of protagonists in the wild continent is relatively small, but there are still some. The development environment of these protagonists is actually better than the larger and more prosperous continent of the gods with numerous populations. Because the density of villains is also low. For them, the dangers of the wild continent itself are some threats. For example, some protagonists were unlucky and killed by some powerful monsters. There are also some protagonists who encountered large-scale tribal wars and suffered disaster. However, some protagonists are hiding and developing, and they are very comfortable in their small days. Now, the Earl of Moishi Land is here. How calm they are. Soon, the news also spread to the forum. 666, Earl of Moishiling went to the wilderness continent. Why do I feel like he's everywhere? Pubda is overjoyed. I heard that there are many beauties of other races in the wilderness continent. The Earl of Moishi Land will definitely be happy. On the forum, the protagonists on the continent of the gods all liked to see them. Especially the protagonists of some kingdoms around the new Moon Kingdom. Mia, Wei, these are for you. Improve your strength as soon as possible. While the protagonist forum is very lively at the same time, Sumo gave some of the things exchanged from the Krypton gold system to 2 cat ears. There are not many strong cats among the cat people, and the number is very small. There have also been Catman juggernauts in some Catman kingdoms. As for the cat-eared girl powerhouse, it's nothing. The current Krypton gold system can produce demigods in batches. Sumo naturally wants to create trustworthy people. The things in the Krypton gold system are not very useful to the devil. These 2 cat-eared girls who were extremely dependent on him were good choices. When I think of these 2 cute cat-eared girls, one day they will be able to become demigods. That scene is interesting. Thank you, Count Brother. The 2 cat-ear girls, one on the left and one on the right, held Sumo's hand and acted coquettishly. Sumo is going to stay here until the evening, and go to the Holy Moon Kingdom early tomorrow morning. The other side. In heaven. The new Moon Goddess has read the letter from the Dark Moon Goddess to her. After reading it, the pretty face of the Goddess of the New Moon has been covered with extreme surprise. She took a deep breath. Then, he sat on the throne that was as white as jade. Spent a lot of time there. Sevi, send a letter to Goddess Shi and ask her to come. After a while, the Goddess of the New Moon said, Yes, Goddess. Angel Servi quickly left. Vera. What's the matter? After a while, the Goddess Shi came. Her kingdom of God is not far from the Goddess of the New Moon. The Goddess of the New Moon looked at the Goddess Shi and said, Shi, I know you have opinions on the Dark Moon, but this time, you have to listen to me. Goddess Shi looked at Goddess Crescent Moon's serious expression and asked, Dark Moon came to you? The Goddess of the New Moon shook her head. No, the Dark Moon just wrote me a letter. A letter? Goddess Shi was dissatisfied. If she wants to ask you for help, she should come in person. The new Moon Goddess said, It's not like this. She said in the letter that she wants to be the Moon Master. Dark Moon, is she crazy? She actually wants to be the Moon Lord. Even if the moon is not the biggest, the position of the Moon Lord is not something she can control. This news made Goddess Shi uneasy. The reason why the goddess of the new moon was surprised before was also the content of the letter. In the letter, the goddess of the dark moon said that she was ready to challenge the moon's lord. To be the lord of the moon, the world of gods is very big. There is more than one moon. Generally speaking, in an area, often only one moon can be seen. At night, the farther moon appears to be just a few brighter stars. Except for those small moons and slightly larger moons, the Moon Lord is unfathomable. The largest moon, the Moon Lord, is even the Lord of Power. Our Moon Lord's strength is also very powerful, which is comparable to the innate gods. Where did she get the courage? Goddess Shi said. For the Dark Moon Goddess, she has a lot of opinions, but in fact, she also cares about the Dark Moon Goddess. The New Moon Goddess said. Dark Moon said that 10 years ago, she had eliminated all hidden dangers in the abyss, and now she is comparable to the innate gods. Dark Moon is already comparable to the innate gods? This news made Goddess Shi startled. She did not expect that the growth of the Dark Moon Goddess would be so fast. Originally, the Dark Moon Goddess surpassed their realm. Now, the Dark Moon Goddess has become an existence comparable to the innate gods in one fell swoop. This growth rate is also very amazing. But only the 6 goddesses of them know, the Dark Moon Goddess, why there is such a growth rate. She took a shortcut. The power of the Dark Moon Goddess is of the dark attribute itself. In her divine power, a lot of dark side power has been added. Like the supernatural powers they gave Sumo, they were all without attributes. But in fact, every god's divine power will add something of its own. The components of divine power are also very complex. Different divine powers, specific roles, and the power they exert are also different. For example, there are some gods who master the power of fire, and their divine power has added a lot of energy belonging to the fire attribute. This makes their divine power extremely powerful when used to release fire-related attacks. There are also some divine powers, which will add the energy of the ice attribute. When they are used to attack, it is not a problem to be frozen for thousands of miles. The energy that can be added to the divine power is naturally very advanced, ordinary energy, but it will not work. The energy of dark attributes is somewhat similar to the energy in the abyss. The Dark Moon Goddess used the energy in the abyss to increase her strength by leaps and bounds. Originally, she thought she could control it. After all, the properties are very similar. However, she sees the energy in the abyss too simply. Before Sumo, there had never been any celestial deity who could fuse the two powers at the same time. Even the power of the Dark Moon Goddess itself is similar to the power of the abyss. Similarity and sameness are two different things. One, after all, is a celestial power. One is the power that originates from the chaotic abyss. When the gods of the heavens are contaminated, the power of the gods and even the godhead will be polluted. She was still out of control, and was almost completely contaminated. Until 10 years ago. Now, I heard that the Dark Moon Goddess actually eliminated the hidden dangers and grew 350 to a realm comparable to the innate gods. Goddess Shi was also startled. Vera, has she really eliminated all hidden dangers? Goddess Shi is skeptical. The New Moon Goddess said, I know her, she won't lie. Maybe she really found some way. Goddess Shi still doesn't believe it. I always feel that if she takes shortcuts like this, there will be problems sooner or later. The goddess of the new moon sighed. Shi, why did she take shortcuts back then? It's not that you don't know. Shi said, of course I know that someone forced her to marry, but we are all willing to find a way with her. She still has to stick to that step. Didn't she know that once she took that step, she would be the enemy of the entire heaven? In the kingdom of God, there was silence for a while. The New Moon Goddess did not speak anymore. Back then, the 7 goddesses of the moon had fought too many times for this matter. Okay. Let's not mention what happened back then. What does she want us to do now? Seeing that the goddess of the new moon was silent, the goddess Shi spoke again. The New Moon Goddess said, it's not so easy to become a moon master. She has to start the battle of gods with all her strength. Once the battle of gods starts, the opponent will probably take advantage of her not being able to be distracted, and some surrounding kingdoms will join forces to attack her country. Hope we can help her. I knew it was so. Goddess Shi murmured and asked, when? The goddess of the new moon said, she is still in retreat, 10 days and a half months, and 1 or 2 months. Shi, you will help her, right? Goddess Shi snorted softly. She only writes to you. If she doesn't write to me, I won't take action. However, when the voice fell, the angel of the goddess Shi sent her news. The dark moon goddess also wrote a letter to her. Early the next morning, Sumo left early and came to the temple of the crescent moon. Mo, you help the holy moon goddess to win the kingdom first. There are some changes in the situation. I will tell you after you help the holy moon goddess win the Bahia kingdom. After seeing the new moon goddess again, the new moon goddess said to Sumo, has the situation changed? Goddess, is it related to the dark moon goddess? Sumo asked one more question. Originally, he wasn't going to ask more. But Sumo found that the state of the new moon goddess seemed a little wrong. When talking to him, she felt a little absent-minded, which showed that she was thinking about other things. The goddess of the new moon has no scheming. Sumo occasionally asks this question. It's not a big problem. Really? The current state of the new moon goddess, I didn't think too much. Why? Sumo asked this. She said, almost, you may still need to take action at that time. Oh. Sumo made an oh, and didn't ask any further questions. After meeting with the projection of the Crescent Goddess, Sumo went to see the Crescent Queen again and left the Crescent Kingdom. The Queen of the Crescent Moon has finally returned from the Kingdom of Hoden. No, to be precise, the 24 counties in the northwest. The current Hoden Kingdom has become the 24 major counties of the Crescent Kingdom. Star God Horden had trouble even making trouble. It seems that he has given up treatment. Appears behind the northern border of the Crescent Kingdom through the Space Gate. Sumo passed through the Space Gate at the border of the Holy Moon Kingdom and came directly to the capital. These space doors are rarely activated, but Sumo will naturally activate them when he comes here. Fortunately, this killing god has gone to the Wild Continent. At this time, in the royal capital of the Holy Moon Kingdom, a silver protagonist's mood became better again. Because he saw news on the Protagonist forum that the Earl of Moshi Land went to the Wilderness Continent. These days, he has been worried, for fear that the Earl of the Blackstone Land will come to the Holy Moon Kingdom again. After the status became high, the Protagonist also learned that several kingdoms in this area belong to the kingdom of the 7 goddesses of the moon. As for the discord between the 7 goddesses of the moon, he didn't know at all. After learning this, the Protagonist was ready to run all night. However, the silver villains in the capital are still staring at him. If he wants to run now, he must die now. As long as he leaves the capital, even if his status is already good, several silver villains will not let him go. Seeing that the Earl of Mo Shilling has gone to the Wilderness Continent, it is difficult to think about this guy's mood. HMPH, it's just the silver villain, I'll let you all at ease for a while. The Protagonist hummed. Although he is only the silver protagonist, after a while, he is sure to fight against these silver villains. There is no need to hide in the royal capital like now, relying on the Holy See's power, so that the other party does not dare to take action. Everyone can grow in peace for a while. That's right. In the capital, the other protagonists also felt relieved. After the protagonists settled down one by one, Sumo quietly entered the city. Earl of Moishi, please, goddess, let us cooperate with you fully. As soon as Sumo came out of the space door, the Bishop of the Holy Moon Holy See quietly came to greet Sumo. At the same time, the King of the Holy Moon Kingdom also sent a princess to greet him. For this action, the King of the Holy Moon Kingdom is naturally very happy. After laying down a new kingdom, even if the king of that kingdom cooperates, he can only be demoted to a duke. If you don't cooperate, let alone. As the King of the Holy Moon Kingdom, his power will naturally increase accordingly. Bishop Crow, please give an order to seal the headquarters of the Holy See. Princess Anne, I need to seal the capital, and don't let anyone go. Even if the other party is a duke, can you do it? At the Space Gate, Sumo said to the Cardinal of the Holy Moon Holy See and Princess Anne sent by the king. His words made the expressions of Bishop Claw and Princess Anne change. Seal the headquarters of the Holy See, and then seal the city? Such handwriting. Not the usual big one. However, they were instructed by the Holy Moon Goddess to cooperate fully with Sumo. So, although Bishop Crow and Princess Anne were surprised, they still nodded. No problem, I'll arrange it right away, Lord Crow said. I will notify Father King with a magic letter. Princess Anne is also very decisive, although she is in the royal city, but in order to inform the King of the Holy Moon faster. She chose to send magic letters. So, soon, the Holy See headquarters has been quietly sealed. Then, the gates of the royal capital were also closed. Not only that, the forbidden air magic circle of the Holy Moon King capital was also activated directly. It is impossible to run from the sky. Sumo rode a carriage and headed for the Holy See. It's over, the Earl of Moshi Land is here. This time, before Sumo arrived at the Holy See headquarters, he was met by a protagonist. The protagonist is not far away, because the distance is too close. He knows Sumo's identity directly. Suddenly, the protagonist shouted in the protagonist group. What? Don't scare me. I just breathed a sigh of relief. Are you kidding me? It's not driving. It's really not driving. It's true. Believe me, the Earl of Moshi Land is really here, and now he's still on his way to the Holy See. Everyone, run. Quick. Get out of the city at all costs. Let's escape together. This news immediately made the other protagonists in the capital panic. Even if they were killed by Bishop Silver, they would have to flee. If you escape from the capital, you might be able to survive. If this is blocked by the Earl of the Moshi Land, it is absolutely impossible to survive. The protagonists of several other kingdoms are living examples. In the group of protagonists, there is no protagonist in the capital, but one by one seems to be lively. Originally, they saw that the protagonists in the royal capital were developing so fast, and they were a little envious. But now, they are not envious at all. No, a few days ago, they were no longer envious. In their opinion, the protagonists in these capitals are like being in prison. It would be fine if there was no Earl of the Blackstone Land. When the Earl of Moshi Land came, they could hardly escape. And because the silver villains are staring at them, it is difficult for them to escape in advance. The protagonists took action. Prepare to escape from the capital. But soon, the protagonists in the Holy See were dumbfounded. F***CK. Why is the Holy See headquarters closed? F***K. You can't get out. This is definitely the ghost of the Earl of Mo Shilling. He is so bullying, he actually sealed the Holy See headquarters in advance. Jing in the group of protagonists, the voices of several protagonists in the Holy See immediately sounded. What? The Holy See headquarters has been sealed. This wave of the Earl of Moshi Land is too cruel. The protagonists in other places were also surprised by Sumo's operation. But soon, they knew that sealing the headquarters of the Holy See was just a small move. I'm going. The king is blocked. I can't escape. I'm the captain of the palace guard, and they won't let me go. It's cold. There are also several protagonists there complaining bitterly. They were not in the Holy See, and after quickly fleeing to the city gate, they found that the king is blocked. As soon as I arrived in the royal capital, the Holy See and the royal capital were sealed. Count of Mo Shi Ling. I have decided to escape from the Holy Moon Kingdom immediately. I escaped a few days ago, haha, I still have foresight. How does this FCK make people play? How does he do it? Also let no one live. In that group of protagonists, the other protagonists were also stunned. I'll go. The Earl of Moshi Land has enough operations for 6. I have long let the surrounding protagonists run away, they have to be the first iron. If you were in the capital, would you give it a try? Except for some strong gold-level protagonists at this stage, many silver-level protagonists in the capital have to keep their heads down. Yeah. These villains started killing people desperately. A protagonist next door became a general of the Wangcheng Defender, and was forcibly killed by a villain who made excuses. Everyone, be careful. Once the villain jumps off the wall, it's not for fun. They are nobles after all, and they may have some scruples in front of them. Seeing that we are about to grow up, they will definitely do anything to kill us. The price. On the protagonist forum, the events in the Holy Moon Kingdom once again sparked a big discussion. Some protagonists discussed the current situation. Now, it has been almost 2 months since this confrontation game started. Many protagonists have a certain strength. Bronze-level protagonists are okay, like silver-level protagonists, some of them are more powerful, and they are almost above the magic guide. Not to mention, the gold-level protagonist grows faster. Not only have their own strengths risen, but some of the protagonists who have survived until now have basically acquired some status. Seeing that these protagonists are about to grow up, some villains have also begun to take risks. For example, some Duke-level villains forcibly kill people, even if the other party is in the palace. The consequences of killing are naturally not light. Reputation, status, etc. will be affected, and there will be no small punishment, but after all, it is a nobleman, and it is impossible to be executed. However, if they were to be killed by the protagonist, why would they care so much? In the attention and discussion of these protagonists, in the royal capital of the Holy Moon, a big net has already begun. Bloodmouthed, how could I be a collusion demon? In the Holy Moon Holy See, a temple knight with a high status shouted loudly there. Isn't it? Just let the Holy Sun check it, Bishop Klaus said indifferently. Come on, go ahead and check, Lord Bishop, and please give me justice later. That temple knight said. At the same time, this guy was still comforting other bishops in the group. The Earl of the Blackstone territory actually said that I colluded with the devil, and I can think of such a clumsy excuse. I really think highly of him. However, soon, the temple knight was dumbfounded. The scene between the Holy See of the New Moon Kingdom and the Holy See of the Shui Kingdom was staged again. Impossible, it must be his ghost, it must be him. How can there be so much demonic energy in my body? Bold. So many of us magicians are staring at us, and we dare to slander the sun. Soon, in the Holy Moon Holy See, these protagonists were completely dealt with. Then, the other protagonists were also dealt with one after another. After getting the protagonist, Sumo took advantage of the situation to capture several silver villains in the Holy Moon Kingdom. The status of these silver villains is not low. When they were arrested, the people in their forces were incensed one by one. Mobilized a large number of people, until, outside the royal city, a strong demonic aura erupted. The devil invasion. In the royal city, everyone's expressions changed drastically. Roar. Tremble, the name of my long-nailed devil will eventually become a nightmare in all of you. The long-nailed demon god roared and slayed the Holy Moon capital. But look carefully. This time, this guy actually didn't use his full strength, and his speed was not the fastest. This is giving the Holy Moon Goddess reaction time. Sure enough, soon, the Holy Moon Goddess descended on the angel and descended in person, and fought a battle with the long-nailed demon god. After being fooled by Sumo, the long-nailed devil is also willing to be an old actor, and this time he performed very well. Finally, the long-nailed demon god was beaten away. Seeing the invasion of the demon god, many people in the Holy Moon Holy See thought that Sumo was a bit of a big deal, but no longer think so. Even the demon gods came running. How many demon god dark suns must there be in the Holy Moon Kingdom? It is not so easy to provide a channel for the devil to come. Ordinary people simply cannot organize such a large-scale blood sacrifice. With this, Sumo successfully took care of all the silver villains in the Holy Moon capital. Even if these silver villains are the heirs of the Duke. In fact, some kings themselves are happy to see the fight against the nobles. There are too many nobles, and the tail is too big, which has already brought a negative impact on the status and rule of the king. Immediately afterwards, with the help of this remaining power, Sumo once again cleaned up in the Holy Moon Kingdom. Since the protagonists have already received the news, there are not many protagonists caught this time. Outside the capital, 3 were caught, but several villains were also taken care of. The protagonist is good at running, but the villain is not good at running. This time, there is another role for the long-nailed demon god to play this scene. In this way, you can avoid letting others associate the spikes with Sumo. After all, every time Sumo attacked other kingdoms, there were demon gods who made trouble. If the demon god just disturbed the kingdom that Sumo had attacked, it would eventually cause some associations. But the long-nailed demon god jumped out and attacked the Holy Moon Kingdom, plus this guy's style of fighting all the way. Next time this stupid big guy appears in another kingdom, other kingdoms will only think that he is unlucky. The best thing is that the timing of the arrival of the long-nailed devil this time is also good for Sumo. It was directly believed by many people in the Holy Moon King capital that the arrested silver villains jumped over the wall and made it. After all, it is impossible for ordinary nobles to organize a blood sacrifice ceremony to let the demons invade. Needless to say, in this blood sacrifice ceremony, Sumo naturally let the succubus sneak in quietly, and then bewitched some organizations such as robbers and criminals. After Sumo's bloodline was elevated to the sacred bloodline, the bloodlines of the succubuses were also affected and improved a little. Their lurking in the human world has also become easier. Although he can't use his full strength, using the Eye of Succubus is no problem. The harvest is good. This wave of harvest is very good. The Holy Moon capital has a total of 4 silver protagonists and 3 bronze protagonists. The others were basically killed. Counting the 3 bronze protagonists caught outside the capital, a total of 6 bronze protagonists were caught. There are 3 silver villains in total and 11 bronze villains. In the end, through these villains, 5 silver protagonists were fed. Counting the 4 in the royal capital itself, there are a total of 9 silver protagonists. There are also a lot of gold fingers. According to the supplementary rules, after the protagonist kills the villain, he can get 100% of the highest gold finger owned by the villain. These silver villains have all killed some protagonists and have some gold fingers. Their strength is actually pretty good. However, gold finger is not tailor-made, and it has brought some influence after all. In addition, the most important thing about gold finger is the grade. Only one of the gold fingers of these silver villains is silver. The rest are still bronze. After getting all the 9 silver protagonists fed out, the crit talent played well this time. There were 2 5x crits, 2 4x crits, and 4 3x crits. The lowest one also has 2.5 times, plus 1 other bronze protagonist. In this way, the income of this wave of villain value directly broke the 15,000 mark. Your cumulative villain value has exceeded 50,000, and you have been upgraded to a legendary villain with plus 500 luck points. At this time, the prompt on the villain panel appears. Although the legendary gold finger has not been upgraded yet, but after the cumulative villain value has broken 50,000, Sumo has become a legendary villain. Upgrade your critical strike talent. Sumo directly spent the remaining villain value in his hand and raised his crit talent to the legendary level. The upgrade is successful, and the crit talent has been upgraded to the legendary level. You become the first villain to have the legendary gold finger, get 1000 villain value and 200 luck value. The prompt reappears. Sumo clicked on the description of the crit talent. Critical talent, legendary gold finger, can get 5 to 20 times the crit reward, and the crit villain value reward is half of the normal reward. The crit talent has been upgraded to the epic level, and you can crit other gold finger rewards with a level lower than the epic level, and the crit effect is 1/5 of the normal reward. The description of the crit talent appears. The legendary crit talent is indeed more powerful. The multiple of the crit has become 5 to 20 times, and even if the villain value reward is only half, it is 2.5 to 10 times. This limit is directly doubled. Although it is a multiple of float, don't forget it. The amount of luck will have a very large impact on this probability. Sumo's aerodynamics are so high, he's not afraid that he won't be able to hit high multiples. In addition, the interesting thing is, the crit talent has been upgraded to the epic level, and he can still crit other gold finger rewards? Gold finger itself is a bug. Crit talent, if you crit other gold finger rewards, it will become a bug among bug. Hey, it turns out that this kingdom is yours. My spikes will destroy your kingdom today. Half a day later, in the Bahia kingdom, the long-spiked devil roared while fighting with the gods of the Bahia kingdom. Damn. I asked them to clean up the demon god chess pieces in the kingdom. How could this demon god still escape? The god of the Bahia kingdom is very depressed. After the Hun Kingdom was taken down, the god of the Bahia kingdom did a lot of homework. Among other kingdoms, there are also some spies in the Bahia kingdom. In New Moon Kingdom and Shui Kingdom, there are naturally some spies. This is inevitable. In a kingdom with a population of over 100 million, it is normal to have some spies. There's no way to figure it out completely. Through these spies, the king of the Bahia kingdom also knew what the Shui kingdom did before the war. That is to launch a large-scale operation to clear the demon chess pieces. After the king of the Bahia kingdom learned about the situation, he naturally reported it to the god of the Bahia kingdom. So, the god of the Bahia kingdom also copied the homework. Also within the territory of the Bahia kingdom, a wave of actions was launched to remove the demon god chess pieces. Not to mention, he also caught some, including a few nobles. Originally, he thought it would be safe. Who would have thought that this guy, Long Nail, actually appeared again? However, what made him fortunate was that this time the Long Nail demon god appeared ahead of time. It was different from the last time in the Hun Kingdom. Last time, including him, the 3 gods were all collapsed. The god of the Hun Kingdom was made to cry even more. Moreover, the last three people were not very happy. Because the gods of the Hun Kingdom lost too much, and the kingdom was also lost, the god stone that was originally promised to be paid to them actually defaulted on the 350. A dignified celestial spirit, actually shutting down the kingdom of God and hiding directly. Playing missing. This also made the gods of the Bahia kingdom extremely unhappy. He obviously went to help, but in the end he had to bear the loss of strength himself. The key is that the consumption is still so large that the accumulation of decades is almost wiped out. In addition, seeing that Shi kingdom borrowed Sumo, the god of Bahia kingdom is also alert to the attack of Holy Moon kingdom. The new Moon kingdom has just expanded a bit, and it will take a lot of time to digest it, and it will not expand for a long time. Therefore, the god of the Bahia kingdom knew that if there was another round, it would definitely be the Holy Moon kingdom. The spy of the Bahia kingdom in the Holy Moon kingdom also sent back the news of the invasion of the spiked devil god. Originally, the gods of the Bahia kingdom were still a little gloating when they saw the demon god of spikes attacking the Holy Moon kingdom. Who would have thought? It didn't take long for this guy to find the Bahia kingdom again. Damn it. The god of the Bahia kingdom fought with the long-spiked demon god. Hoo-ho. You are too weak. Today in this country, my nails are destroyed. The long-nailed demon roared and killed the god of the Bahia kingdom. The face of the god of the Bahia kingdom was ashen. When the difference in strength is not large, it is difficult to tell a winner or loser in such a battle.
The key is that this consumption makes him extremely distressed.
Finally, after fighting for an hour, the long-nailed demon god had to withdraw. This time, due to the quick response, the long-nailed demon god didn't have much to gain. Not even the temple could be destroyed. Send down a few more angels. The god of the Bahia kingdom descended 10 demigod-level angels at one time. This time, he made the right bet, because as soon as the long-spiked demon god left, other demon gods came again. Damn it. The god of the Bahia kingdom had to ask the star god Horton to help. That guy Hunhi is hiding, and most of them don't want to shoot. No, I have to find another helper. The god of the Bahia kingdom thought. In the heavenly world, it is not so easy to find helpers. If you are not a god you trust, people will not help you at all. The reason is simple. What if someone came to help you and came to the world of the gods, but you turned on the divine light and didn't let them come back? The kingdoms in the world of gods are all illuminated by divine light. Shangguang is a kind of protection for his own country. Not only does it prevent other gods from coming to their own kingdom, but it also prevents other gods from returning to the heavens within the range of their own divine light. If the other party wants to return to the heaven, they have to fly to their own country. Or find a god who is willing to let him go back to heaven. This process is too dangerous. If you can't find it in an hour, the consumption of light staying will have to cry. After a long time, there is even the possibility of confessing in the world of gods. If this kind of thing happened, some gods with trump cards had to use their precious trump cards. For gods without trump cards, I am afraid they can only use the blood sacrifice method often used by demon gods to forcibly open the passage, but then their divine power will be polluted. Therefore, in the heavenly world, it is not easy to find someone to help. Usually, several gods adjoining kingdoms hug each other. If you don't let me go back, I can go back to my own country soon. Just like these three guys. Seeing that the god of the Hun kingdom was hiding, star god Horton was still willing to help. The gods of the Bahia kingdom felt that they were not reliable enough, and they connected with other gods they knew. However, not many are willing to help. Generally, those who are willing to help are close to the country, and if they are far away, the risk is too great. Finally he found one. There's no end to it. You're watching me, aren't you? However, after a few hours, the god of the Bahia kingdom collapsed. Because, his kingdom seems to have become a den of demons, and demons are killing one after another. Now, even directly killed too. Several of his angels have been killed, and the temple is almost crippled. The entire capital is also in chaos. The god of the Bahia kingdom is in a worse mood now than the god of the Hun kingdom a few days ago. Because these demon gods seem to think that he is easy to bully, one by one they are clamoring to destroy his kingdom. Damn it. The god of the Bahia kingdom was so depressed that he wanted to explode on the spot. Why are there so many demon chess pieces? Who the hell organized this? The gods of the kingdom of Bahia do not understand. It is not easy for a demon god to come. A demon god usually has to make trouble, and it will be arranged many years in advance. Slowly, add pieces. Think about it, you need to gather enough devil believers who are willing to sacrifice blood. The point is, it can't be found yet. In other words, there must be a powerful magician to set up a magic circle. How can it be so easy? Now that so many are popping up all at once, it shows that the infiltration of the devil is extremely serious. The gods of the Bahia kingdom do not know that it is indeed not easy for other demon gods. But for Sumo, it's much simpler. Succubus, born good at this. As soon as the eye of the succubus is activated, an ordinary human can become a qualified devil believer in minutes. Of course, the maintenance time is not particularly long, and the continuous illumination of the divine light will also weaken the effect. But 10 days and a half months is enough. The time is too long, and the possibility of being discovered is not small. Such a long time, enough for Sumo layout. In particular, Sumo is looking for some robbers who are not in the city. These guys are more controllable. In the end, it took several hours, and finally, the god of the Bahia kingdom drove away all the demon gods. All passages were destroyed. At the same time, the god of the Bahia kingdom also sent an angel to plow around the capital. As long as there is no one in the place, it will be bombed directly. Although he was chased away, his consumption was too great to make people feel distressed. He now understands why the god of the Hun Kingdom wants to play and disappear. What the heck, he wanted to play and disappeared. But in the end, the king was saved. After this wave, the demon god's chess pieces should be almost dead. He felt that it must be his move to clear the demon god pieces, which stimulated these demon gods, so they started. HMPH, now you have no pawns. The god of the Bahia kingdom snorted softly. Although the loss this time was huge, at least it was not as big as the god of the Hun kingdom who lost his own kingdom. In addition, these demon god chess pieces, in his opinion, should be almost removed. The intensity of the cleaning has to be intensified. It has been almost 100 years since the last war between the abyss and the heavens. There must be a lot of chess pieces laid by these demon gods. The god of the Bahia kingdom thought secretly. He didn't think Sumo's side. This possibility has also been considered, but he ruled it out. A holy son has the ability to get so many demons? Do you have the ability to provide a channel for so many demons to descend? To doubt, also doubt the new moon goddess or several other goddesses. But if the goddesses did so, he was happy instead. Because the power will be polluted, and the pollution is irreversible. Once the new moon goddess is completely polluted and becomes a demon god, there is no way to be in the heaven. At that time, he can easily take down the kingdom of the new moon goddess. This is the divine stone promised to you. I'm not like a guy who doesn't believe it. In the heavens, the god of the Bahia kingdom took out the god stone accumulated over the years and gave it to the star god Horton and another god who came to help. He still has a lot of resentment towards the god of the Hun kingdom. Just breathed a sigh of relief. The complexion of the Bahia kingdom changed. Because, at this time, outside the capital of the Bahia kingdom, more than 100 flying ships descended from the sky. Because the demon god fought for several hours in succession, the attention of the Bahia kingdom was diverted. In addition, Sumo flew high all the way, and let the angels take action to clear some of the Bahia kingdom's air riders in the sky, as well as the vigilance magic circle. As a result, the Bahia kingdom has not noticed anything. If there is no demon invasion, it would be impossible for even a flying ship to arrive so quietly. This time, it was just like a divine soldier descending from the sky. F***CK, it's over, the Holy Moon Kingdom is calling. Needless to say, it is definitely the handwriting of the Earl of Moishi. We are finished. Flee now, it's still too late to escape. Don't worry about those stupid villains, they don't have the heart to deal with us at all. As soon as the demon god does something, I don't feel right, this rhythm is too familiar. But those stupid villains are still thinking of taking the opportunity to kill us, and now they have to finish it. You said, did the Earl of Moshi Land collude with the devil? Other saints can't do it, but he can definitely do it. This issue is not important, run away. The protagonists and villains in the Bahia capital were the first to panic. Several silver protagonists are ready to escape. Several silver villains were originally going to take advantage of the invasion of the devil to get these silver protagonists. Now, when I see the flying ships outside the capital, even though I haven't seen Sumo yet, everyone is completely panicked. Wherever the Earl of Moishi land goes, no grass grows, and both the protagonist and the villain must die. In the eyes of many protagonists and villains, the Earl of Moishi is a super killer. Peerless murderer. These silver-level protagonists and villains are naturally frightened to the point of shit. When these silver-level protagonists shivered with the villains, they do not know. In the heavens, a god has already cried. The god of the Bahia Kingdom also cried. Do you want to play people like this? His mind exploded. Now he has a feeling that Sumo has negotiated with Majin Te. But he is a god above, and he subconsciously disdains Sumo, who is a human. Subconsciously, I feel that a human saint child does not have such great ability. Otherwise, wouldn't he lose to an ordinary human being? The kingdom can be lost, but the majesty and face of God cannot be lost. Now, it can also be attributed to bad luck. The time of the devil invasion is too long, and the Holy Moon Kingdom has just caught the opportunity. But just like this, the god mentality of the Bahia Kingdom was completely exploded. It has only been fighting for a few hours, the consumption is huge, and now it has to be passively opened. The three of us descend together. This time, he was also ruthless and the three gods descended directly together. Then, take the initiative to kill Sumo. However, something happened that broke them down. Sumo seems to play them on purpose, seeing three gods descend. The flying ship of the Holy Moon Kingdom actually quickly retreated. After they descended, the flying ship had already withdrawn for hundreds of kilometers. The three gods were dumbfounded. It's all coming, ready to fight a battle, actually playing people like this. Chase. They can only chase, but they dare not chase them all. Sure enough, just after chasing out, Sumo suddenly appeared and killed the capital, and the remaining two gods had to come back. Being engaged in this way, these three gods are not calm. And Sumo is as tough as ever, with one enemy 3, and he can't beat the wind. Go ask for help. The god of the Bahia Kingdom was ruthless, and was going to ask for a helper. Before, there was a god whose kingdom was not too far away. However, time is running out. They couldn't hold on. Damn it. The god of the Bahia Kingdom exploded.
Boom. The temple was destroyed.
Then, there is the Holy See headquarters. A large number of the clergy were restrained, preventing them from initiating the summoning ceremony. Without a shrine and without a summoning ceremony, it would be difficult for a god to come. I must kill you. The god of the Bahia Kingdom was mad, completely torn apart, and was furious in the kingdom of God. Bahia Kingdom, just like this, was easily won by Sumo. Incidentally, it stimulated a poor god to the point of madness. After winning the Bahia Kingdom, not many protagonists and villains were killed. During the war, some protagonists and villains took the opportunity to escape. However, a few were caught by Sumo. The same method, if used too much, is not easy to use. After all, these protagonists and villains are not stupid either. After winning the Bahia Kingdom this time, it is estimated that among the 7 goddesses of the moon and the kingdoms of other goddesses, some protagonists and villains will also think about running away. Sumo didn't care either, and this wave's harvest was pretty good. In addition, the legendary gold finger is really powerful. After catching a silver-level protagonist, after solving the opponent, the crit talent comes with a high multiplier crit. Crit hit a full 8 times. A silver-level protagonist originally only had 500 villain value and 20 luck. After the crit, it becomes 4000 villain value, 160 luck. Only 1000 villain points are missing, which is equivalent to killing a gold-level protagonist. If you can kill a gold-level protagonist and then crit, the harvest will probably be even more impressive. If a 10x crit is triggered, the gold-level protagonist can directly crit to 50,000 villains, allowing Sumo to upgrade to the second legendary gold finger. There are not many gold-level protagonists, and none of the nearby kingdoms seem to have them. There is also a certain possibility, but the other party is hiding very tightly. The bronze-level protagonist has 100 luck at the beginning, the silver level is 200, and the gold-level protagonist has 500 luck at the beginning. With high luck, it is difficult to kill. These gold-level protagonists have a high gold finger level and develop fast. In addition, their gold finger type is often special. Su Mo was not in a hurry, and it was not too late to wait until the other party jumped out. In terms of gold finger, there are a lot of gold fingers obtained this time. There are still a lot of talented gold fingers. There are also several different types of systems. Su Mo thought about it, and collected and integrated all the divine talents. After the fusion is completed, the divine talent is upgraded to the gold level, and it only needs more than 3,000 villain points. So, Su Mo raised the divine talent to the gold level. In this way, he has a legendary gold finger, crit talent. There are also 4 gold level gold finger, God's right hand, Krypton gold system, divine talent, and Lord system. The villain value is not enough, otherwise Su Mo is going to upgrade the Shenhao system to the gold level. After finishing this wave, in the Holy Moon Kingdom, after Su Mo returned to the temple, the Holy Moon Goddess descended on the projection. Mo, the divine power promised to you, the Holy Moon Goddess, like a gentle and beautiful big sister, handed a ball of divine power to Su Mo. Su Mo cast a look, and the divine power given by the Holy Moon Goddess was also more than promised. Even more than what Goddess Shi gave, she gave 2,000 drops in one go. This is super generous, Goddess. Su Mo spoke up. However, before Su Mo finished speaking, the Holy Moon Goddess said, Mo, this is what I deliberately gave you. Maybe it can help you. Your action in the Bahia Kingdom this time has given me a lot of inspiration. I feel that I have found a way to double the income of my faith. This is what you deserve. You see if my method works. Su Mo said. Goddess, please speak. The Holy Moon Goddess said seriously. Your method is very good. Directly distribute the land to the commoners and attack the nobles, so that the enthusiasm of the commoners who make up the vast majority of the population will be very good, and their faith will increase considerably. Nobles, like magicians, don't actually provide much faith, but they occupy a lot of resources. Su Mo listened silently. Compared with the new Moon Goddess and the Shui Goddess, the Holy Moon Goddess is indeed better at governing the country. Some concepts of the Holy Moon Goddess are also very good. Moreover, some of her concepts have broken through some inherent concepts in this world. For example, at the beginning, when Su Mo asked Queen Crescent to distribute the land of Hun Kingdom to commoners, Queen Crescent Moon was very worried that it would cause the nobles in Hun Kingdom to be dissatisfied and disobey the rule. The aristocratic class in the new Moon Kingdom is also very strong against it. If it wasn't for the Queen Crescent's absolute trust in Su Mo and another king. Unless the God of Heaven exerts strong pressure, the other party will hesitate. After all, the cornerstones of many kingdoms in the world of gods are nobles, big and small. And Su Mo's new deal promulgated by the Queen of the Crescent Moon is destroying this cornerstone. Although the aristocratic system is too bloated, it will bring many problems, but it is the most reasonable system at present. The Holy Moon Goddess can understand this. At the same time, she also saw more, for example, that it is not feasible to completely abolish the aristocracy. The old aristocracy has been abolished, and there are also new aristocrats. The idea of the Holy Moon Goddess is to gradually divide the nobles, support the commoners, and improve the lives of commoners, which is the source of her beliefs. Mo, what do you think of my thoughts? After the Holy Moon Goddess finished speaking, she asked.
Su Mo said, the idea of the goddess is very good.
The Holy Moon Goddess said, now, the only thing that bothers me is how to rationally divide the rights of the nobles. Too drastic means are definitely inappropriate. Su Mo pondered for a while and said, actually, there is a very simple way. The easy way? The Holy Moon Goddess looked at Su Mo. Su Mo's method comes from the historical book Before the Time Travel, the method used by Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty to deal with the nobles. Very simple, but also very effective, that is, push grace. In order to keep the family strong and not be divided, the nobles adopted the firstborn inheritance. In this way, the land and wealth of a duke family will not be divided. The decree of grace directly gave the other heirs of the duke the right to inherit. As soon as the old duke died, several sons divided the family property, and the duke's family was divided into several parts. After the next generation dies, one more point, a huge family is directly divided into dozens of copies. In another generation, it will be completely differentiated. And it's a conspiracy. It will also cause divisions within the noble family. The duke and the duke's heir disagree, but the duke's other uninherited sons will raise their hands in favor. A family will be exhausted, and the pressure will not be on the king. For the sake of the holy moon goddess's 2,000 drops of divine power, Sumo offered her this method. After listening to Sumo's words, the eyes of the holy moon goddess lit up. Sumo made a few more suggestions. For example, applying magic to the development of the kingdom. Train a large number of magicians to heal the common people. Train life magicians, deworm crops, and use magic to increase productivity. These suggestions made the goddess of the holy moon so happy. Thank you. The gentle and beautiful eyes of the holy moon goddess are full of admiration for Sumo. Inside, there is also curiosity. Her brain tonic ability, although not as powerful as Goddess Shi. But, seeing that Sumo actually needs divine power, combined with Sumo's speciality, her guess about Sumo now is probably very close to Goddess Shi's brain supplement. Goddess don't have to be polite, Sumo said. The holy moon goddess said. After waiting for a while, if I have time, I will ask you again. If possible, I would like to invite you to be a guest in my kingdom of God. I can better ask you about the kingdom. Governance issues. To the kingdom of the holy moon goddess. God can invite extremely devout believers to stay in the kingdom of God for some time. But generally no god wants to do that. Most gods do. After some devout believers such as saints died, their souls were taken into the kingdom of God, their bodies were remodeled, and they were immortalized in the kingdom of God. Some excellent souls can also be shaped into angel bodies and become new angels. It is not difficult to receive souls, but attracting a living believer is too expensive. Very few gods are willing to do it. The holy moon goddess obviously appreciates Sumo so much that she wants to invite Sumo to be a guest. In the temple, facing the invitation of the holy moon goddess, Sumo pondered for a while and agreed. His sacred succubus bloodline made it impossible for him to be exposed even if he appeared in the heavenly realm or in front of a god of complete strength. Well, I will stabilize the Bahia kingdom as soon as possible, and prepare for the reception ceremony by the way. Seeing Sumo's promise, the holy moon goddess was very happy. After discussing the details with Sumo, her projection dissipated. Seeing the projection of the holy moon goddess dissipate, Sumo also left her temple. The 7 goddesses of the moon, each person's character is somewhat different. The new moon goddess is a bit pure, the Shui goddess is more lively, and the holy moon goddess is like a gentle big sister.
Of course, this refers to her character. In terms of appearance, the holy moon goddess is naturally very beautiful and young, and she looks like she is only 21 or 2 years old.
But her physical condition is much better than that of ordinary girls aged 17 or 18. It is God after all. At this point, the matter on the Holy Moon Kingdom's side has basically been resolved. The god of the Bahia kingdom is not very reconciled, and is still making trouble with some loyal believers. It will take some time for the Holy Moon Kingdom to completely digest the Bahia kingdom. Sumo all the way back to the New Moon Kingdom, back to his castle. If it is an ordinary sun, freedom is actually subject to certain restrictions. But Sumo is different. Even if the goddess of the new moon and the goddess Shui have no brain supplements, Sumo will not be too restricted. After all, the original new moon goddess almost begged Sumo to be the holy sun. Now, naturally, it's nothing, the crescent moon goddess won't bother Sumo. In the Holy See, the queen of the crescent moon assumed more of the responsibility of the holy maiden. However, after Sumo helped her optimize the kingdom's system, she didn't need to be as busy with government affairs as before. And Sumo got some things out of the Krypton gold system for the new moon queen, which also made the new moon queen grow quite fast. Master, Melina's letter. After returning to the castle, Sumo also received a letter from Melina. With the help of Sumo, Melina went from legend to sanctuary in just over a month. Her own accumulation is good, and with the help of the things exchanged in the Krypton gold system, it is naturally easy to hit the sanctuary. This also surprised many people with Melina. As her strength reached the sanctuary, Melina's status also rose. Now, she is in the assessment of the senior members of the Magic Council. Once successfully passed, she will be able to become a senior counselor, with more authority in the Magic Council. But senior lawmakers are not the end. Sumo's plan is to make Melina the speaker. The Magic Council is a behemoth that spans most of the continent of the gods. Does not belong to any kingdom. the reason why it can span more than half of the continents. It was because behind the Magic Council stood an extremely powerful celestial spirit. Basically, on the continent of the gods, some outstanding magicians in magic academies will be recorded by the Magic Council. After the start of the confrontation game, who is the most talented and fastest growing magician in the entire gods continent? It must be those talented protagonists. This is also the reason why Sumo let Melina make this move. Only by becoming the speaker can you have the right to view these records. Speakers are basically demigods, are extremely powerful sanctuaries. With the current gold-level Krypton gold system, it is not difficult for Melina to go further. In Melina's letter, there is not much content, and it tells about some recent situations. After reading it, Sumo sent her a letter back. Then, Sumo went to the capital again. Mo, I heard that I was going to invite you, but there are some things to deal with recently. You should go to Shungyue first. The projection path of the new moon goddess. It seems that the holy moon goddess has already told her about inviting Sumo. It is good. Sumo said. Yinyu and the others originally planned to let you help, but now there is no rush, you should rest and recuperate first. The new moon goddess said. Sumo gave a By the way, these divine powers are given to you. I have added crescent energy to all of my divine powers, and I couldn't give you too much before. The goddess of the new moon gave Sumo another power. There was a little embarrassment in her expression. It is estimated that the goddess Shi and the goddess Shungyue are very generous. But she is not stingy, but her habit is to add new moon energy and become her own power after condensing divine power. With such divine power, even if she released her authority to Sumo, Sumo could only use it to attack. You can't become your own power. Now, seeing that Shi and Shungyue are more generous than each other, the goddess of the new moon is naturally embarrassed. Therefore, she spent some time stripping out the divine power that had been integrated into the new moon energy. This process sounds simple, but it is quite troublesome. But the goddess of the new moon took some time to strip away a lot in order to make herself appear not stingy. After all, she said she wanted to help Sumo. Goddess. Sumo didn't pick it up, but grabbed the little hand of the crescent moon goddess, closed her fingers again, and wrapped the group of divine power. The goddess has given me enough help. Without the introduction of the goddess, I can't get in touch with other goddesses. These divine powers, the goddess keeps them for herself, and I have a lot of divine powers. Sumo looked at the goddess of the new moon and said. The face of the goddess of the new moon is already a little crimson. Because Sumo caught her little hand again. Fortunately, after Sumo finished speaking, he let go of her. Hey, no, you are my holy son, I can't be stingier than them. Mo, you must take it. When I help Dark Moon. After a while, I will also take you to the heaven. The goddess of the new moon quit, and had to put that group of supernatural powers on Sumo. Her words made Sumo's heart move. Because, the goddess of the new moon just missed her mouth and mentioned the dark moon again. So, the absent-mindedness of the new moon goddess for a while has something to do with the dark moon goddess. There were originally 3 goddesses, and they agreed to let Sumo help, but they didn't seem to be in a hurry. Maybe it is also related to the dark moon goddess. So, what will the dark moon goddess do recently? Sumo guesses. Okay, I'm leaving. The goddess of the new moon seemed to be afraid that Sumo would return her divine power, and after saying a word, the projection dissipated. After the goddess of the new moon left, Sumo saw that the group of divine power she gave didn't seem to be much, and she could hold it with one hand. But in fact, the new moon goddess used a small magic. As soon as Sumo touched it, that group of divine power became bigger, a very big group. There are a full 5,000 drops of attributeless divine power. This must be the income of the new moon kingdom for more than 4 years, right? This time, the goddess of the new moon can be said to have really taken out her blood. The key is, these divine powers, I am afraid she is stripped out again. Not sure how long it took her to strip. After putting away these divine powers, Sumo went to the new moon palace. Mo, are you here? The queen of the crescent moon was very happy to see Sumo. Queen, this book is for you. Gather some capable people to study it, maybe it can be helpful to the crescent moon kingdom. Sumo gave the queen of the crescent moon a book. This book contains a lot of useful knowledge for this world. Much of this knowledge comes from another world. But Sumo didn't copy it, and many technologies from another world are not suitable for placing them on the continent of the gods. For example, some highly polluting technologies will be directly killed in the continent of the gods. The reason is very simple. If the pollution is large, it will have a very large impact on the magic power. Su Mo originally gave the Queen Crescent a lot of advice, allowing the Crescent Kingdom to develop beyond many surrounding kingdoms. Even in the past few years, the development of the new Moon Kingdom has surpassed that of the Holy Moon Kingdom. With this book, the development of the new Moon Kingdom will probably go to a higher level. The new Moon Goddess can also get more faith income. Thank you, Mo. Queen Crescent turned over the book. Although she couldn't understand some things, she vaguely felt that the content of these books would be very useful. After leaving the Crescent Palace, Su Mo returned to the castle. Then, he entered the abyss and began to condense the power of light and darkness. 2,000 drops of the Holy Moon Goddess, 5,000 drops of the New Moon Goddess, and 1,000 drops of the Shi Goddess. A total of 8,000 drops. It can condense a lot of light and dark power. They are all divine powers without attributes, but there are still some differences. For example, the divine power of the Holy Moon Goddess is slightly higher in quality, which means that her strength is slightly stronger. The New Moon Goddess is similar to the Shi Goddess, and their strength should be similar. Thousands of drops of divine power still need a little time to condense. After successfully condensing, Su Mo will condense these divine powers again and turn them into intermediate light and dark divine powers. In this way, Su Mo stayed in the abyss all day. This evening, Su Mo found that the villain forum started to get lively. Su Mo saw the reason for the excitement. Early tomorrow morning, it's time to refresh the second ranking. The leaderboard is refreshed every month. It's now the second month of the game. No wonder it was so lively. In the past 2 months, a lot has changed. Most of the villains who are still alive have more than one gold finger. Although their gold finger is not tailor-made, but with the resources they have, their strength has also grown to a certain extent. I'm afraid it's the Earl of Moishi Land that dominates the list again in this issue. Sure. Which villain can match him? Oh, it's really difficult. I'm in the Silver Moon Kingdom. I don't know if I should leave. Hurry up, don't hesitate, you will lose if you hesitate. Yes, as long as you have gold finger, reluctantly give up your power. On the villain forum, in some discussion areas, the discussions were extraordinarily lively. After Su Mo glanced at it, he withdrew his gaze. Continue to gather the power of light and darkness. In this way, time passes little by little. Soon, the next day arrived. The next morning, at 8 o'clock, many protagonists and villains paid attention to the rankings. The leaderboard is refreshed on time. Hey, Tien Luck, as still the first protagonist, his record is a bit scary, it's already 62. Hey, in 1 month, the record has increased by 47 points. Does this kill all the villains in the Baitan Empire? I'm in the Baitan Empire, I know the situation. Tien Luck has changed from an abandoned baby to the heir to the throne, that's why it's so powerful. Oh my god. After the leaderboard is refreshed, in a protagonist group, the protagonists first pay attention to the protagonist list. Just saw, in the first issue of the rankings, the change in the record of the number 1, Tien Luck. Tienyan is still the gold level protagonist, but his record has risen very rapidly. In the last issue, his record was only 15, but after a month, his record reached 62. This shows that in this month, he killed 47 villains. After the protagonists were amazed, they continued to watch. The second-ranked gold-level protagonist is also not easy. Moreover, this guy suddenly rushed up this month. For the next month and the next month, he was still a little underwhelming. In this issue, there are a total of 15 protagonists, and the record has exceeded 10. Compared to the previous issue, it has doubled. These protagonists are all gold-level protagonists. After the protagonists read the protagonist list, they looked at the villain list again. Just saw that, the 3 lists were once again dominated by Su Mo. Look, everyone, the Earl of Mo Shilling is actually a legendary villain. I go. F***CK. This is impossible, the legendary villain. How many protagonists have to be killed? Where's the eyes? There's a record in the back. Hey, so scary. It's really a knife to stab PP, it opened my eyes. Scary, really invincible, a large number of protagonists exclaimed. The reason for the exclamation is that, in Sumo's personal information, his villain level is a legendary villain. Also became the first legendary villain. Moreover, the protagonists have long known that Sumo's legendary villain is killed all the way. At the beginning, Sumo got the 10 kills, and when his identity was revealed, he was just a silver level villain. When the first issue of the rankings was announced, Sumo was a gold level villain. Unexpectedly, after a month, Sumo was directly promoted to the legendary villain. This freaks out some of the protagonists. Legendary villain. It's worth 50,000 villains. Even if he kills 120 protagonists, unless they are all silver protagonists, it won't be enough. Why not enough, if there are several gold level protagonists in it? Didn't I hear that a gold level protagonist was killed? You forgot. The Earl of Moishi territory killed even the villain. He used the villain to feed the protagonist, and he fed the protagonist to fatten them before killing them, and the rewards were even more. It is possible that he has a gold finger that increases the reward, but this kind of gold finger must be upgraded to a very high level to increase the reward. Hey, there's such a gold finger. Why don't I? Soon, all the protagonists have long forgotten that Tien Luck ranked first on the protagonist list. Sumo has been discussed. There are many topics discussed. Some of the protagonists are still shocked that Sumo has become a legendary villain so quickly and has achieved more than 100 records. Some of the protagonists were there to discuss how Sumo killed 120 protagonists and became a legendary villain. 120 protagonists, if all of them are bronze, the villain value is 12,000. If it was all silver, it would have a villain value of 60,000, but it was obviously unrealistic. However, some protagonists guessed that Sumo should be able to increase the reward. There should be more than one protagonist who has gold finger with critical strike talent or other enhancement rewards, but there should be not many high-level ones. When Sumo got this talent, it was still silver. Ordinary protagonists, even if they have a talent for critical strikes, want to rise to the gold level. The difficulty is not too big, let alone the legendary level. He's actually at the legendary level. He killed all the way, he must have a legendary gold finger. When we all grow up, we have to find a way to kill him, otherwise, he will really be unstoppable. In a group with a lot of gold level protagonists, there are some gold level protagonists in it, and Sumo also felt a strong threat. They have a gold level gold finger from the beginning, and their luck value is far higher than that of ordinary protagonists. All of them are developing very fast. After the last rankings were announced, they were not too worried. But as soon as the rankings of this issue were announced, all these gold-level protagonists were nervous. He's legendary. Damn it. Don't be discouraged, we are developing step by step. Don't be discouraged, we can always find a way out. Musho is in the forest. The wind will destroy it, we don't have to worry too much. Maybe the other protagonists and villains have plans to deal with him. Yes, when the protagonists grow up, they will definitely find a way to get rid of him first. In another group of protagonists, hundreds of simulator protagonists cheered each other on. Because they are not motivated, they have to despair. Especially the two gold emulator protagonists, both of these guys are a bit of a meltdown. They didn't dare to say it in the group, because they simulated their current huge plan through the gold simulator. In the same way, it is 10 dead and no life. Now they can only attribute that the simulator level is too low, and the gold level Goldfinger may not be enough for them to find a way to break through. Therefore, the two golden simulator protagonists have also had frequent actions this month. With the help of emulators, these two guys have both killed some villains this month. Hold on, let's upgrade the emulator to the legendary level. The two gold simulator protagonists are there to cheer each other on. This Earl of Moshi land has gained a lot in several kingdoms. He has a legendary gold finger, and I want to shoot him. Once I get it, his legendary gold finger will be mine. Another group with many gold level villains is also discussing the rankings of this issue. This time, the fact that Sumo became a legendary villain also surprised many villains. Ordinary villains are nothing more than shock and trembling there. Some villains who have a lot of power and strength in their hands have other thoughts. After all, now the villain kills the villain that meets the conditions, and can get the opponent's gold finger. The Earl of Moishi land satisfies the conditions at a glance. Once killed, gold finger will definitely explode. There are also some villains who are tempted. When both the protagonist and the villains were exclaiming for Sumo. In the abyss, Su Mo finally condensed the power of light and darkness. 8,000 drops of divine power, in the end, together with his own divine power, fused 17,000 drops of primary light and dark divine power. After another fusion, Su Mo got a total of 281 drops of intermediate light and dark power. With the addition of the previous ones, Su Mo's intermediate light and dark supernatural power has exceeded 300 drops. The harvest is not bad. Now, instead, it's Su Mo's own dark power. A bit not enough. Su Mo's own dark powers do not need belief. Using the magic marrow or some similar treasures, you can quickly increase your power. It can also absorb the energy of the abyss and slowly transform itself. After the Firestone Abyss was taken, the problem of resources was temporarily solved. Su Mo attributes all divine powers to the Godhead, and then looks at the villain panel. Soon, he saw the ranking situation this time and received the reward again. After the crit, the 1400 villain value reward, the crit became more than 9,000 points. The multiple is not bad.